Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, coming to you 6 days a week as we interview whitetail experts and hear their traditions and personal stories of the hunt. Learn more about the latest gear, discover proven tips, and the latest strategies so you can make your next hunt a success. Now, here's your host, Bruce Hutchin.
Whitetail Rendezvous is pleased to announce a partnership with GoHunt.com. Who's GoHunt.com? Well, if you're a DIY hunter, you need the information at GoHunt.com/insider. Why? Because it provides 4,200 profiles, every unit, every species, and every season. Furthermore, they give in-depth analysis, interactive maps, unit access, and seasonal trends. Draws are very important, and they give you the most accurate information in the business. All this is available when you go to GoHunt.com/insider. Make sure you use promo code WR when you join Insider. You'll get a $50 gift card for GoHunt.com Gear Shop. Remember, when you become a member of GoHunt.com/insider, you're going to get a $50 gift card to Go Hunt Gear Shop. What's in the gear shop? The best gear that you can buy for hunting the West. This gear's been field tested by some of the best, and they know what it can do, what it can't do. You're going to get reviews, and you're going to have a selection that is bar none right at the top of the list. Having said that, once you get your gift card, all you have to do is go to GoHunt.com and go to the first page and click on shop and go have some fun. All in all, if you're hunting out West in 2018, GoHunt.com Insider is where you need to be to get all the research information. When you use promo code WR, Whitetail Rendezvous receives a small commission from GoHunt.com. Hey, folks, Bruce Hutchin, host and executive producer of Whitetail Rendezvous. We're heading out to Pennsylvania, and we're going to connect with a good friend, Steve Rocco. Now, Steve is the president and producer of Keystone Wild Outdoor TV. Steve, welcome to the show.
Hey, Bruce, how you doing, buddy?
Well, as we talked in the warm-up, I'm doing a heck of a lot better. Thank you for your kind words and prayers when I was going through my bumpy ride. That's for damn sure. And when we look at what you've done, and you were talking about the different shows and the Hunt Channel, Pursuit Channel, and Eyes on the Sportsman Channel, let's talk a little bit about your journey. It was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, you and I talked, and you were just starting this filming journey. So let's share with the listeners what your journey's been like.
Oh, it's been unreal, man. The last 2 years is definitely been great. We pretty much started, Keystone Wild Outdoors started in 2016. And we did have all intentions of filming and attempting to get on a network. We figured we just launch a show to try to showcase everything on YouTube first off. And I was able to hook up with Mitch Florence from the Hunt Channel, and he walked us through the steps of getting involved. And we premiered in would have been New Year's Eve, December 31st of 17, or it would have been 16, I guess. But that went well. We ended up being the number one show on the Hunt Channel, the most viewed show in our quarter, and I believe it held tight the entire year. Technically, now we're on our second season. We're actually airing on Saturdays, 8 p.m. on the Hunt Channel as well. About 2 weeks ago, to the day, I'm pretty sure of, I talked to Greg Suggs from the Pursuit Channel, and we signed a 27-episode contract to air on the NRA Freedom Fridays. So we're pretty excited about that.
So how did you get to this point? Where all of a sudden you're signing contracts for real money. Tell us about the journey, because there's a lot of guys and gals out there that say, man, I'd like to be where he is. Share some of the bumps and twists and turns and curves in the road.
Well, we all started off as there's I guess the best way to say it is you're trying to figure out, everyone wants to get involved in the outdoor industry, and you never think it's a possibility to be able to do it to, everyone. Maybe you want to get involved for all the wrong reasons, whether it be to make money or whatever, but it turns out you end up spending more of it than anything else, to be honest. But with us having the capabilities of being able to film and learning that whole thing, because it is important, the camera angles, making sure that you get you're able to tell a story with a camera. It can be the most difficult thing, but one thing that I was actually self-taught at, that I was able to editing side of it, and everything else that goes with this industry. You got to have a complete production to be able to put anything together to get it out there to the public. So I was able to do that in-house here, so it made it a little bit easier for us. We've had a lot of great people along the way that locally their involvement has helped, whether it be trading off exposure for hunts or whatever it might be, with a lot of help along the way, and helping us market a Pennsylvania based outdoor show.
When you started, how many guys did you have filming? Was it just you and somebody in the other set, or how did that all work?
Well, it's one thing that we almost still hold true to now, Bruce. We've only done probably a few hunts with an actual camera guy, and I guess we'll see how that works here as it gets a little crazier when, it was my brother and I, my good buddy Dennis, that pretty much started KWO, and it turned into, okay, we're taking our cameras out with our camera arms, and we're setting them up in a single set and trying to film, and that's all well and good. There's a lot of guys I know that are able and successful at doing that, and we've had multiple successful harvests on film that are self-filmed. But we've come to learn that having a camera person, having somebody film you where you can solely concentrate on the harvest and on the hunt, it definitely puts together a better production, in my opinion. But I guess to answer your question, we went out, as far as budget friendly as we could, and got camera equipment and got microphones, and just went from the wounded warrior, or not the wounded warrior, the weekend warrior, of trying to hunt on the weekends and in the evenings after work, and just film as much as we could.
So you got all this product in the can. What the heck do you do with it now? I mean, okay, so you got some good shots, bad shots, you get A-roll, you get kill shots, you get all this. Who puts it all together?
Well, that's one thing that, when we first started, that was the last thing on our minds, I guess, at first. That luckily I spent a lot of time doing a little bit of multimedia stuff when I was a little bit younger. I can't say I've got away from it whenever I got older, but the more in depth we got, I wanted to go out with a video camera and just and film my hunts and put them together. And after we got everything put together, I then realized, okay, we either need to pay someone to do this, or I need to pretty much take classes and learn how to run this software to be able to put this stuff together. So that's what I ended up doing. And it's one of the coolest things about that is if you've ever messed around and even put some short clips together, it's not only when you get to go through the footage again, do you get to relive the hunt, starting from scratch and putting production together. It's satisfying, man. And that goes the same way as I've expanded enough to where I've gone out and these networks, they do provide you with commercial time to sell to help pay for your production. I've gone out and I've been able to film some commercials for local business and put them together and build them and seeing people's reaction and be able to market them on a little bit higher scale. It's cool. So it's another thing. It adds where, okay, you're addicted to hunting. You get to film your hunt and see it over again. And this whole, the editing side of it, there's a lot of satisfaction in that as well.
It takes a lot of time though to do the editing.
Yeah, it does. I've come up with a system here. When we first started, it was more of like, okay, I just had folders full of footage with dates on them, and you're hunting in turkey season, you're putting stuff on your hard drive. You get late into late December and into the late season, you forget what's there. So when you're trying to build these shows, depending on when your quarters are or when you're airing them, you're thinking, okay, well, I got to put a turkey hunt together and put it out there. Now, instead of me going back and being like, all right, well, I'm going to go through here and watch 200 clips of me calling or my brother calling or, a bird strutting 200 yards away, I've come up with a system now to where, and I have to say it's partially because of what we've learned with filming too. We're able to put the stories together a lot better, just how we're just not taking random clips while we're filming either. We have a regimen when we get out there. We're going out there and we're filming, getting to the stand set up, or whether it be a morning intro or a recap, whether it's a successful hunt or a non-successful hunt. We have everything in place where we can easily put a story together that's going to make sense in the long run, and it makes it a lot more attainable for me to access it how I'm setting it up now, where I can build these shows so they make sense and doing it a lot quicker than when we first started.
Well, folks, it isn't easy, but the rewards are there. As everybody knows, millions of people watch the Hunt Channel, Pursuit Channel, the Outdoor Channel, all these channels. And so there is opportunity, but you got to be darn well willing to work hard. That's for sure. So let's talk about, okay, so you've got your film company going and you're working and you're hunting. And now you said you're going to go hunt 4 different states. Where are you headed to this spring?
Well, this spring to go after the turkeys, we definitely got locked down here that we're going to hunt Pennsylvania hard like we always do here. Head over to our bordering state of Ohio, where we've been doing a lot of deer hunting as of late. Going down to see Joe Yusko in South Carolina to do some lowland turkey hunting. Then we're also hoping to either hit Florida or Georgia for some turkeys as well. And we're going back to, as far as the whitetails go, we'll be back down with Pennsylvania. We'll be back in the Carolinas doing some bow hunting. We'll be in Ohio at Crazy Horn Outfitters with Mr. Mike Grimmett, and potentially doing some West Virginia hunting as well.
It's really fun when you can start doing those things and seeing different country and meeting up with different folks. And how are the deer different in those various states? Or maybe they're not.
Well, I mean, you won't. Really, the only difference you're going to see, it kind of blew me away when we initially went to Ohio from Pennsylvania. And anybody local is going to know that the big differences, whether it be just as far as the game laws go. Pennsylvania has a shorter bow season. Its high-powered rifle season comes in December, or late November, I should say. One thing that's noticeable is when the Game Commission, they implemented a antler restriction many years back now, and you're starting to see a difference in the deer now, but I don't know if it was just the laws that were implemented earlier. You see some big deer killed here in PA. I don't want to take that away from anybody, but it's something else when you cross that border to Ohio. And it's just I think it's the laws they've implemented and just the pure genetics that's in that state that there's some monsters there. And we laid our eyes on them this year. A couple of our guys in the past few years were able to take some deer over 160 inches, and it's unbelievable. And that goes the same with down in the South. Good buddy Joey, he films with us as well. He's on the team. He showed me some deer that are down there that I would have never thought were in the Carolinas. That it's impressive. It's one thing I can say to anybody here in PA, not taking anything away from Pennsylvania. If you have the opportunity to even go out and hunt public property in Ohio, try it, because it's going to give you a different look of the whitetails that are in driving distance.
Yeah, it is amazing. Let's talk about the misconception of what scent control is and isn't.
Okay. Well, I guess one big thing is you can have, this is what we'll go from learning experience here. Now this goes to stand setup and stand placement. Before we learned anything where you thought that you never thought before that a deer was going to wind you. You never played the wind when you were a younger kid. I don't know about you, Bruce, but it was me when I was smaller. I'd get off the school bus, put my camo on, and go up above our house and hunt. Now we have all these things that are implemented, all these apps that we can use to our favor. I can jump on my HuntWise app and see which way the wind's blowing in 3 different tree stand sets I have in Ohio. But now I also have ozone. I have these field sprays and the camos I'm wearing that can just flat out make me invisible. But there's certain things I think that can hurt you as well with that. For example, I've been burned before having a stand placement where I'm walking over a mile to it. We're talking early season bow season. It's all well good to use ozone and spray down prior to accessing the stand, but after you walk a mile in 55-degree weather, carrying a backpack, your bow, and everything, there's a good chance you're going to sweat. One thing that I would probably do, and one thing I would advise, you carry some scent elimination with you as well for your stand there, whether it be or even you're using ozonics or anything in the stand. Concealing yourself from property to where you're accessing your stands definitely crucial to keep those mature deer in the area.
Now, just repeat what you just said. You want to not let the buck see you when you're in the stand and approaching your stand. How'd you say that?
I guess the best way that I've learned here is, I guess we'll go back to the trail cameras, how crucial they are to it. We have stand sets that not only is odor important, concealing of just the site is as well. There's stands you're going to want to hunt first thing in the morning, and that's it. There's stands you're going to want to hunt in the evening, and that's it. And it's just because, my personal opinion, you get to where these deer, when you're still trying to kill them on a pattern, you throw something in there and it changes it, they're going to know. I mean, there might be smaller bucks that might not affect them at all, but from what I've learned from experience, these bigger deer, you have to plan it out right. It can't just be, you can get lucky with a rifle maybe here and there, but we're talking bow hunting, close encounters with big whitetails. You have to watch how you're seen, when you're seen, and your scent. Absolutely. And like I said, touching back on figuring and setting your stand up with the wind and hunting in uncertain wind situations, you want to have a game plan together, accessing it. Easiest way to access it, quietest way to access it. You could, and that's avoiding, you could have the best tree stand set in the world, but if your shortest walk is through a bedding area, you might as well just stay at home. You know what I mean? I've learned I'm a bigger guy. So I have to, and I'm carrying 40 pounds of camera equipment with me. I'm carrying my bow. Depending if it's cold out, I might be carrying an extra layer of clothes with me. Everybody wants to get to that stand quick and get up in it and get set up, but it's like I go back to the sweating process of it. You might have to stop and you might have to spray down. You might have to stop and keep your body temperature down, your heart rate down, so you're not sweating as bad.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn and a lot to consider, in stand sets. When you're thinking about a stand set, especially in Ohio, where you don't hunt there all the time, you go in and you come home. What are the determination factors about where you're going to set your stands?
Well, one of the biggest things that I've seen is, we do a lot of research as far as using not only scouting the property and watching our scent while scouting it. We do a lot of research with the topos and as far as access points go. One thing in Ohio that we have just started this year is I've never hunted a state before where you could actually hunt over a food source. And we did not start doing that really until later in the seasons here when all the agriculture went down and we were hunting in 10 and 20 below zero. But where we're at in Ohio now, it's not by any means flatland. It's like West Virginia. Your access points are few and far between. So that goes back to, okay, I might have a stand set that I can get to by climbing this half a mountain. It's going to take me 45 minutes that I can get in the morning. But, then we're going back into where in November the leaves are off the trees. It's going to be loud getting in there in the morning. This might be maybe a better evening spot. There's another spot that the only way you're going to access it is you're going to get through hugging a fence row, going through a 100-acre open field. I don't want to walk through there and at 5 o'clock in the morning and blow all the deer out of the field either. I'd be a lot more comfortable getting in there a couple hours earlier, getting in 1 o'clock in the afternoon, setting up for an evening hunt. I base everything off of, it goes back to just using the apps at your disposal. Playing the wind is a big thing, in my personal opinion. It makes a big difference. And even if you're using it for access for travel corridors, getting in and out when you're hunting close to those bedding areas.
There's sure a heck of a lot to learn, and many of us, I've been guilty of it too. I get there and I'm running late, and I think the best thing to do if you're running late, go have coffee.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because it doesn't work.
Yep, absolutely. Those and I'm sure you have too. There's been times where I've been late and I've been so flustered that I was late, and it's you're no sooner set up in a tree and there he is. And there's been times where I've gotten busted too, where they weren't paying attention to what time it was and they were too early too.
Yeah, it's a fun adventure. I guess that's what a guy told me the other day. He said, Bruce, you'll never, you're just never gonna know it all, and every year is a new chapter, and just just make sure you enjoy it. That's for sure. Say, do you keep a journal?
I do not. I that's a really really good idea. I actually had someone bring that up to me a couple weeks ago, and I'm honestly considering it. I because we have, if you think about it, I know you're a strong influence on social media as well. That's really the only thing other than the footage that we have to look back. To look at the pictures or the post to say, I'm looking at a picture of an elk that I filmed a guy shoot a year ago, or it's something that I should carry something with me just to write down the memories of it. I think it'd be pretty neat.
Yeah, with all the you talk about apps on our phone. I mean, we can find out the wind direction, barometric pressure. Is it raining, snowing, sleeting? What's going to change? All these things just on the weather side, and then we can watch deer movement. So we're sending it the triple X stand, and we know it's right near a saddle, and we know the wind's coming from the northwest, and we never see anything with the northwest wind. Wind switches around the southwest. Heck, we're covered up. It's like, oh my goodness, who let these guys go? But well, no, but you think about it, and because we know where our stands are, we know everything about what we're doing, but that little piece of the puzzle. So you wake up in the morning and say, okay, what's going on? You check your apps, you check all the weather stuff, and you go, I'm not going to the box stand today. I'm going to the concussion stand today because everything's sort of kind of lining up. The dates are right. The moon's right. The weather's right. I'm going to go to that stand because what happened before with those conditions on that stand, you saw deer. Did you kill one? I don't know. But you definitely had action. And, if we killed a deer every time we went out and sat on the stand, we'd sure as heck be illegal. Well, that isn't true. There's some states you can shoot a deer a day. So God bless you guys. Where I hunt, it's kind of a one and done. Yeah, we can kill a lot of does, but as far as bucks, it's kind of a one and done with our bow and one and done with our rifle. But think about that, listeners. And I think it's a healthy thing. And you can keep all that information right on your smartphone. You don't have to have a piece of paper and a pencil. You can have it all right on your smartphone. So that's one thing I'm gonna really spend some time this year, especially. I know a couple of honey holes for elk, and I'm gonna see, okay, what are the conditions that they're going to be there, and what are the conditions they're not going to be there. And
that's very smart. Very smart.
And the same thing goes for whitetails. Exactly the same thing. And I think we'd be better hunters. And so, listeners, if you want to chime in on this, reach out to me at whitetailrendezvous@gmail.com, and let's chit-chat about it because, I think there's something here, and I think if there's somebody out there that wants to talk about putting an article together or a blog or something, let's get together and throw our heads together and make something work, because I definitely think more people should do it, because there's some tremendous hunters. There's no question about it. I mean, they're rock star hunters, and nobody knows their name, and they just go out and kill Boona bucks every single year, or pretty close to every single year. And yeah, they're hunting in the right place. They're in the right state, non-pressured deer. All those factors factor in, but still to do it is amazing to me. Your thoughts?
No, I completely agree with you. I mean, you continuously run into these guys that we'll see at these shows, or and they're showing you pictures of these deer. I can tell you right now, anybody that has the thought that because you have a show that's on a national network that you're the best hunter, I can tell you that's the honest truth right now, that we're not. We're just fortunate to be able to do this stuff. And I tell you what, there's a lot of people that I run into that, like you said, they continue to kill big bucks every year. And I try to get on these guys and just pick their brain, what they do. And some of them have some crazy tactics, and you can learn a lot of stuff from them. They're pre-smartphone, pre-trail camera. They're going back to these guys. They know a patch of woods like the back of their hand. They know the genetics of the deer there. They're doing their homework with a spotting scope, watching velvet bucks, knowing what's there, and getting their inventory the old school way, and it works out for them. I had a guy tell me the other night, not to get off subject, Bruce, but
That's
he
okay.
said, have you ever thought what it would be like? We didn't have trail cameras, and we weren't digesting those bucks before we saw them live out of the stand. He goes, I would have killed more deer quicker than knowing, okay, well, I said, I catch myself scoring them before I even see them. And then when I see them on the hoof, it's, I'm already got my mind made up. And that him saying that, it kind of impacted me a little bit. Like, this guy's got a great point. I mean, the trail cameras, they help us pattern. We can learn a lot from them, but it's going back to, we all want to kill big deer, but it's one of those things that we didn't know what inches were on a whitetail until we got into this industry a little deeper. And that's one thing at our show. We try to go back to our roots a little bit of, if the animal excites you, there's not a whole lot of opportunity for the working class guy or gal here in our state. And if the animal gets you wound up, there's no reason that you shouldn't take them.
Yeah, and I would agree to that. I always have followed this axiom for myself. If I don't care where I am hunting, if that animal turns my crank, excites you, I think that's how you said it, gets me fired up, I'm going to shoot him. Boom.
Absolutely.
And I don't care, if fortunately I don't hunt where they say, oh, if you kill 140, you got to pay a price. Places I hunt, it's your hunt, it's your money, it's your deer. Knowing that if you kill a young deer that, by young, 2.5, 3.5 years old, a young deer, he's just not going to grow into the boonin that he would be in 3 or 4 years. Okay, point taken. But, it's amazing how we all have, gotten so wrapped up in bone on top of the head. Hey, I love seeing a 160. I've never shot a 200. I've seen them. I've never had an opportunity. Would I love to have that on my wall? Of course. But at the same hunt, if I end up with a 140, I'm happy with it. And I think we got to get over ourselves a little bit. Sure, we're competitive, but let's get over ourselves and let's enjoy the hunt.
I agree with you 100%. And it goes back to, I don't want to get off subject too much, but you see a lot of internet, social media shaming on people taking deer that they're proud of. The only reason they're posting them is to get positive reaction. And you see a lot of people that are that downplay the event or make them feel shameful for what they did. It's they buy that license like anybody else does. It's if it's taken ethically, if it's legal by any practice, and if it makes you happy, that's what it's all about. You know as well as I do, Bruce, that I'm not saying hunting is a dying breed, but here it's definitely in our state. You can see the difference just by the children that aren't involved. So you hate to see a younger kid put a picture up of his first deer, whether it be a spike or a 4-point or whatever, and you have somebody giving them a hard time saying they should have passed on it and let it grow.
Yeah, well said. And I remember Dan Smith, he took his kids out this fall, and I can remember his daughter, she got her first, and I think it was a spike buck or a forkhorn buck. And, Dan from, deer and deer hunting, he couldn't have been prouder if, that thing was the new world's record. It didn't matter. Absolutely didn't matter. His daughter got her first deer.
Absolutely. And being able to experience that with them, we've been fortunate to be able to do that, be on some hunts and capture that emotion involved. It's, that the size of the rack, or even if there's a rack there, whether it be a doe or not, that excitement is just something that I don't know if it just activates something in you and you remember to when you took your first animal, that it's something special, and that definitely should not be downgraded by anyone.
Let's go back to one thing, and then we're going to move on. If you're not long distance scouting on your deer herd, wherever you're hunting, now I guarantee it's harder on public land, but you still can do it. You get out some long glass, you sit up on your truck, you get the mount, put it on your window, and you just sit there for a couple of hours and watch the deer filter in, filter out, filter in, filter out. and you can get as much data as any trail camera can. Trail cameras work fine, and you get into timber and all this. I'm not against trail cameras, but what I think, if you have a situation where you can watch deer from a distance, they're completely clueless. They don't know you're half a mile away, so you're not bugging them. But then you can watch these deer, and you can watch their transition zones or staging zones and exit points and entrance points and all these type of things. Then you can figure, has anything changed? No, it's the same. But you're spending quality time watching deer as opposed to a trail camera 24/7, doing its job. And like I said, I use trail cameras and they work. There's some places along the Buffalo River that I couldn't do anything but have a trail camera in there. Given that fact, and the people that I hunt with set them up that way, and they tell me what's down in that area and what they've seen the census. But there's a lot of places, guys. People hunt in Kansas all the time. People hunting everywhere, and there's places that you can just set up, and just watch and see what happens. Steve, your thought?
I completely agree with you. First off, I think it's I don't know, it's a little bit of satisfaction being able to see them just where they're, like you said, where they're coming out, because there's yet to be a camera, a trail cam that I've seen that is directing me as far as what direction they're approaching that camera for sure. But it eliminates a lot also, I think, because there's people that do abuse the trail cameras, and they're pulling SD cards out of them every 2 weeks, and we get back to the scent portion of it is, you might have a picture of a big deer on it for the first couple card pulls, and, you're going in tennis shoes and pulling the camera out and he's gone. Well, it's, back to the bigger deer are too smart for that, but that's how we were brought up, Bruce, is, we got a set of binoculars and we hid in a tree line and we watched fields, and we just learned how the deer were patterned, where they were hanging out. And that's how I never put feet out to do inventory on herd after season before, until I got probably into my later teens to 20s. So we just always, when the bucks started to, they're growing horns, we were looking, and whatever characteristics we looked, okay, well, Cabby made it, or whatever it might be. It's, I think there's a lot of good things about them, but I do agree that there's some situations where I think you can obtain inventory and see what deer is there, but I think they can be done in a little bit more of an enjoyable way of, being able to watch the deer in their natural habitat.
Hey, let's take a gear break right now. And very simply, Steve, what's a piece of gear, hardware, clothing that you bought last year that you used all last fall, and why'd you buy it?
Well, I'll be honest with you. There's a company that I had hooked up with called Sling It Customs, company that we're involved with at Creek Archery. They're actually one of our headline sponsors. Good buddy of mine, Chris DePerno, owns a bow shop in Yukon, or I consider it Roughdale, PA. He had an open house, and this gentleman, Nathan is actually his name, has what they are is it's like the survival cord stuff that he makes stuff with. Well, he actually made me a bow sling and a set of straps to hold my binos. And I'll be honest with you, the bow sling came in extremely, extremely helpful. Not only was I able to carry my bow with it, I was able to carry camera equipment with it. I've literally used it to wrap around a tree and hang on tree stand with it, with the bow below me. Another thing, another piece of gear was a heater body suit. This was the first year that I've ever wore one. We had that cold snap in after the second rifle season in Ohio, and as of right now, you can still be hunting with a bow out there right now, but we was going in with wind chills at 20 below zero, and having that heater body suit in that type of temperature, it made me capable of sitting out in it, and gave me a shot at taking the deer I was after.
And I'll second heater body suits, all day sits, late season Iowa. I stayed in the tree, and I didn't have a furnace with me. I didn't even use those heat packs. I just had the bodysuit and my normal gear and it worked for me. That's all I can say. It worked for me. And if you're going to do all day sits in tough, rough weather, worth the investment.
Oh, they absolutely are. I am a believer. That's one thing for sure. Whenever I was wearing it, it was 15 below, and I didn't have gloves on. I knew that they were the real deal.
You've done some things with, I believe it's Wounded Warriors. Let's talk about what you did last year with some guys, some outfitters out there in PA.
We did we put together a contest last year. It was we called it the 2017 Keystone Wild Outdoors Dream Hunt. And what we did is we did the contest actually using Facebook. It was you were allowed to enter whoever you wanted. We didn't put any restrictions on it. You basically, the way you entered was you wrote why this person should go hunting. And you give a little backstory of what they've been through. And well, long story short, with that, the gentleman that was actually picked to win was he actually ended up being a local guy here, and we had entries from everywhere from 10 miles away from me to the United Kingdom, Australia. We had all over the place. People were entering for this contest. The guy that was picked, his name's Sean Kiefer, Army veteran, is still suffering from terminal brain cancer. And we got hooked up with an amazing group of people, Jack Moomow, Marianne Moomow, Jason Hughes, Emily Hughes. They own Phoenix Mountain Outfitters. They're actually located up by Punxsutawney, a few hours past us here. But they put together and donated a hunt for them. It brought us all up for the weekend. They donated the deer that he harvested. They put it together as an unbelievable experience. Sean was never able to take a deer before. So when he was put on this caliber deer, we were going up looking for a 140-inch whitetail is what we had listed the contest at. It's what we were expectations as far as going up. And the deer that Sean ended up taking was just under 200 inches. I believe he was right around 197 and some change. But Phoenix Mountain Outfitters, they did it just by the goodness of their heart and put it on for him. And we had a lot of great people that we put together a GoFundMe, and we were able to buy Sean a bow and got him some Mossio camouflage, some lacrosse boots, got him all set up to hunt. And he's hooked now, man. He loves it. He actually went out after that. He killed a doe behind his house, and he's like we are now. He's hooked.
What a great story. And yeah, to kill that quality a class of buck is great, but I bet he would have been happy with whatever he got, just to experience the people and the adventure and take his mind off things.
Oh, absolutely. That's the biggest thing that we getting back to just the experience of it, and just the whole nature of the hunt and the camaraderie of just being at that camp with his cousin that Tommy that actually entered him in the hunt. We were able to go up there and just hang out. The weather was beautiful and shoot our bows during the day while we weren't hunting, and it was a great experience. It's something that we will definitely never forget. And we're gonna do it again this year. We're gonna put another hunt together. And what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna let Sean he enjoyed it so much he wants to be involved with this hunt as well. So we're really looking forward to it.
Well, let's get him on my podcast. We can do on the scene right from the lodge. We'll get the hunter and we'll put him up. We'll have some fun. Him explaining and sharing, his hunt. I'd love to be part of that. That'd be great.
Yeah, we could definitely work out. Absolutely.
Yeah. Then he'd have some, he'd have the file so he could do whatever. But, I'd love to be involved in something like that, because you get to the roots of why we hunt and why we do some of the things that we do.
Absolutely. And we'd love to have you a part of it too, to be able to, just I guess, showcase what these guys are doing as well. And just, we filmed Sean's hunt, and it's airing. It would be there's 2-part hunt. The first part is airing this Saturday on the Hunt Channel, and next Saturday will be the second part. But I think that was another cool thing about it, where not only he got his buck back being mounted here last week, but like I talked to him on the phone and everything hitting at the same time to where the shows are coming out, and it's cool he gets to relive that and have that deer hanging on the wall there for him to look at behind him too. It's something special.
Heck yeah, works for me. Well, Steve, we're at the time in the show that we're gonna call the show. But anything you want to share with our listeners across North America before we sign off?
I'd just like to thank everybody for their continued support with Keystone Wild Outdoors. We couldn't do it without you guys. It's overwhelming the feedback we get from everybody watching the show and the people that we reach in different parts of the country and in different states that have seen it. It's something special, man. It's we're just going to keep trucking and not stop. We're going to keep going after it, and our plan is to keep having fun and going out there and hunting and trying to put together the best TV show we can for everybody to watch.
Again, how do people get hold of you? I know you have Facebook, and then you've got your TV channels. So let people know where they can find you.
I have a personal Facebook. It's under Steve Rocco. You can actually message me through Keystone Wild Outdoors Facebook as well. I've just recently started a production company, just actually launching the Facebook here very soon. It's called Crabtown Media. Helping all inspiring producers launch basically from just getting started to anybody that's trying to get on a bigger network, whether it be Pursuit Channel, the Outdoor Channel. I can help you with your sponsorships, obtaining sponsorships. I can help you lock down that airtime and get you started. You can message me through Crabtown Media as well.
Well, on behalf of thousands of listeners, Steve, I'm just excited to see where you're going, and I can't wait till we catch up the next time. So thank you for being a friend and all the support that you've given to Whitetail Rendezvous.
Thank you, Bruce. It's a pleasure as always, man. I'm glad to hear you're doing good. It was great to talk to you.
On the next episode, we're heading down to Georgia, Gray, Georgia, in fact, and we're going to connect with Tanner Edenfield. Tanner's a young man that's done a lot already in the outdoor industry. What I mean? Well, he's been published in Outdoor Life, North American Whitetail, and many state agency level magazines. Plus, he's a DIY filmer of his hunts. And one thing I like about Tanner, he lives, sleeps, and breathes whitetail hunting down in Georgia. What does that mean? Well, last year, he spent over 60 days in his stand, and he's hunting for mature bucks. He's not just hunting for, any buck. He's hunting for just one specific buck, and he takes some does. He does some management hunting also, but every year he pinpoints his hit list. He gets his top 3, and he goes to work. And guess what, folks? Some years he doesn't close the deal. You're going to enjoy Tanner Edenfield from Georgia on the next episode of Whitetail Rendezvous.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.